Alright guys, here we go. BMW X3. This is a 2013 inline 6 twin turbo in 55. Same thing from 09 and up. So we had a bit of engine light is on this video. I'm gonna quickly show you guys how to test engine coolant sensors. So let's go. Alright, so let's quickly pop the hood here. This engine's been running for 20 minutes. Kind of get the temperature up to the right temperature. All you need to do the test is a multimeter and a couple extra wires and alligator clamps. That's it. So I'll show you where the sensor. There's a lot of forums and videos doing this test and showing you where all the sensors are. So I spend about over almost 2 hours reading online and diagnosing all this guidelines right here. There's a lot. So there's two sensors on this coolant, on this N55 3 liter. One right here. This is a sensor that goes to your ECU. And there's a sensor down there. It's close to the thermostat. And if you want to buy the sensor on that one, you can't. You have to buy the whole thermostat housing. I'll show you a picture on the side. So that sensor right by the thermostat, what they called it characteristic map. It's a map thermostat, and this one is the engine coolant sensor right there. So there's two sensors, okay, and then there's one sensor right beside the engine block, right beside the head underneath this intake, and people think that's a sensor for a coolant. They think it's this one and that one is a coolant, but that's wrong. This one right here is a sensor for your oil temperature. Okay, so that's sensors on the front right here for the coolant, and then one sensor at the back beside the head, and that's for your oil sensors. So on this video we're gonna do a test on this one right here, see if it's giving us a faulty reading or a good reading. So we'll do a voltage test, signal test, and then resistance test on this 2-wire right here. Black is ground, yellow with a red stripe is signal going to the ECU. Alright, so I pull out my Autel MK9082 to just monitor the temperature. Here's the engine temperature, oil, and then coolant temperature. There's that map thermostat right by the thermostat sensor right there, and then coolant temperature at the radiator outlet. So after reading a whole bunch of forms and this diagnostic right here, the operation, let's say if the coolant sensor failed or the characteristic sensor failed right by the thermostat, the ECU will shut that circuit, and then it would get a reading from the oil temperature sensor right here. That's why there's two sensors reading to one gauge. I'll show you in here. Right there, see that picture right there, coolant and oil. So two sensors, two different circuit with one gauge, one for coolant and one for oil. It goes in one gauge. So that's how this BMW set up. So if one coolant sensor failed, it would show engine lights on, and but still you can still run the engine, get home or get to the nearest shop, but you can still run it, and the temperature, it will get it from the oil temperature instead of coolant temperature. All right, so let's start here. Let's dive into this sensor. Let's find out, see if this is a good sensor or not. So just have to take out this cover right here to get that exposed, that 2-wire. You just pry it open right there, and you will put a multimeter in here. On the multimeter we'll do a key on but engine off, and we'll check the voltage. So basically, if the lower the voltage is the higher temperature, the higher the voltage will be like a colder temperature. So let's go check it out. Let's put a T-pin on this. All right, here we go. We got the T-pin, tap into a signal wire. That's a yellow with the red stripe right there. Right there, guys, yellow, red signal, and ground is black, violet. So we could tap into the ground of the block for the black leads right here. You can go like that, or we could just go through the wire, but I'll just set it like that. So engine is off. We got the 1.57 volts. We're gonna have to run the engine to get a accurate reading with the temperature of the coolant. So we're just gonna quickly run the engine and let it idle for a bit, stable the temperature and the numbers, and then we'll get back. So you can see here at like 70 Celsius. We had this engine light a couple days ago. It was stuck on 70 Celsius when it's been running for like over half an hour. It was stuck right here. It won't even go up at all. It won't budge. So let's take a look at the sensor, see if it's a good reading. At 1.54. We'll just wait for a bit, get it stable. The reading here, temperature. Look at how the oil temperature on the top and then coolant temperature, they all varies exact the same reading, you know. Only 3 or 4 Celsius different, but that's why the circuit on this is tied in together with the oil. This is gonna be like 70 Celsius. So in here in Canada we use Celsius, so we're gonna stick with the Celsius. It's almost to like in this range right here. So 1.45 and 155 volts, and you can see we're on that range, plus or minus. The voltage reading on that sensor right here going to the ECU is on that range. So let's move on to a signal test. All right, so got the engine off. To do a signal test, we had to take out this connector off from the sensor. So I got this nice cool pliers right here to pull out this connector. So basically you have to push this metal wire right here so they will open up, and then you could pull the whole connector out. All right, so on a signal right there going to the ECU, yellow with red stripe, we're gonna put our multimeter leads on there and then put it on ground. All right, just like that. Okay, and make sure the key on, engine off on this one, and we'll ground the black lead and check out the multimeter. There you go, 4.97, so almost 5 volts. And then on our chart right here, range 4.8 to 5. If it's on that range, you're good. Move on to the next step. All right, last check is the resistance of the sensor right here. We'll put a multimeter setting on your multimeter on the resistance right there. Here's our chart. Okay, temperature right now on this coolant is 71 to 73 Celsius. So let's check it out here. All right, here we go. I got the alligator clamp on that one lead of that sensors going to the red lead, and then the ground will tap the other side of the lead, just like that. 395 resistance, again 395. And then on our chart, yeah, it's around this area, so that's 178 Fahrenheit. Let's do a conversion on so 175 Celsius, it's 165 Fahrenheit. So 165, just a little shy. Yeah, there you go. It's on the range. It's almost 400. So all those 3 tests I did, the voltage test, signal test, and the resistance test on that engine coolant sensor, is all check mark, all the box. So that sensor is good. That's how you test the sensor on this N55 engine. It's pretty good. It's not bad, pretty easy, as long as you know what you're doing and find out which wire is which. On this one, the black is ground with the ECU, and the yellow with red stripe is a signal going to the ECU. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, give me a thumbs up on this one. Now you know how to test your sensors on your vehicle. Give me a like. Thanks for watching. See you guys again on our next one.